Hello YouTube, my name is Nero and today we have some Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Now that's something I haven't been able to say ever in my lifetime here on my YouTube channel is, hey, we got some Advanced Warfare for you guys. But that is what we have here. So today is E3, lots of different games, not just Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, but lots of different games have been shown today. And a lot of them look really, really awesome. If you guys have been watching the E3 presentations all day like I have, then you're excited. It's going to be a fun year in gaming, most certainly. But today we're going to be talking about Advanced Warfare, because this is the first actual gameplay that we're actually going to be able to check out from the new game, of course, coming out by Sledgehammer Games, which this is their first time ever actually developing a Call of Duty game by themselves without the help of Infinity Ward, because, of course, Sledgehammer Games did, in fact, help Infinity Ward work on Modern Warfare 3. But we're going to our first look at. So it's campaign, which was to be expected. They usually save the multiplayer reveals for later on in the year. So we're getting a look at what the campaign will entail, which doesn't show us a whole lot, besides we're doing some stealthy missions going through a city and some different things are happening. But what we can take from this is what is happening in the game. What can we expect with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare? Because so far, all we've gotten is pre-rendered cutscenes and what they want us to know about. Here, we actually get a bit of actual gameplay. We can check right there. He's jumping down, and they actually have like little jetpacks that can kind of soften the blow, which reminds me a lot, I must say, of Battlefield. So if you played the Battlefield series, you'll know that you can jump off a skyscraper, which I've done many a time in the Battlefield games. You can jump off a skyscraper, and just before you're about to hit the ground, you can go ahead and pull out your not your jetpack, but your parachute. You can pull out your parachute and land on the ground safely. You kind of have the same thing happen right there, but with a little mini jetpack that you can use that kind of soften you and can make you hover a little bit and make it so you can jump off of tall surfaces. The weapon we're looking at right here, none of us really knows what it is, right? The way it's shaped, it almost kind of looks like a scar, but of course you look towards the front of the gun, it doesn't really look like a scar really at all. It's definitely a gun that's probably just completely unique to Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, but the game itself is set exactly 40 years in the future. 40 years. It's set in 2054, at least this particular part of the gameplay. Of course, throughout the actual game itself, it might span many different years. You never really know how it's going to work out. So it's set 40 years in the future, and you think of what technology can do in 40 years, especially with the kind of technology we have now, how much faster technology is going to progress over the course of the next 40 years. If you just look back 40 years ago to 1974, right? You think about what we had in 1974 versus what we have now technology-wise, there's going to be a lot of different things that are going to happen in this game just because of that year gap. It gives Sledgehammer the free roam to be able to do whatever they want. They can just take anything. They can imagine the world however it is they want to imagine it. And right now it kind of features kind of Halo, Spartan-esque jump stuff, which you can just jump on top of stuff and have little tiny jetpacks. And you look at the gun itself. The gun itself is very reminiscent of Halo. Just looking at it, because you have the bullet counter on the back of the weapon, which tells you how many bullets are in the magazine. You look at the reticle, which of course this is a brand new reticle that we've never actually seen in the Call of Duty series. And we've had a bunch of different renditions of a red dot sight or optical attachments. We've never seen anything of that nature before. It definitely looks very different, definitely looks very unique. The game itself, of course, looks pleasing to the eye, but you never know what they show at E3. You take that with a grain of salt. That you don't know what this is exactly shown on. They can say it is done on the Xbox One, but there's been times in the past where people say it's being played on the Xbox One when in reality it was actually being played on the PC. You gotta take that with a grain of salt. You really have to. And we had those drones back there, which Lord knows what those drones were actually for. That was actually pretty creepy. And they fast forwarded here towards a little bit further in the presentation, because in the interest of time, they don't want to take up the entire presentation doing an entire campaign mission, you know, just by themselves. And we get to check out this, which of course I think this is going to be more or less driven towards the campaign itself. I remember last year's E3, no, not even last year's, 2 years ago's E3, when they were revealing Black Ops 2, and I remember looking at it and saying this optical sight would allow you to look through walls. And of course, the millimeter scanner is not really used a whole lot in Black Ops 2, right? No one really seems to use it much. But when we watch, you know, the trailers and we've seen things about it in the campaign, we're like, oh no, this is horrible. Why is all this going into the multiplayer? It looks so advanced. And that's one of the things that that we're seeing right now for Advanced Warfare that can definitely be said for this, is everything looks so advanced. Everything looks like it's going to completely change Call of Duty. And this could be a good thing or it could be a horrible thing depending on how much you want to change it. But we all just need to step back and take this with a grain of salt, because what they show that is happening in the campaign might not actually make it into the multiplayer. And while a lot of us care, of course, about what's happening in the campaign, because we all play the campaign, but for the most part, we're all really caring about the multiplayer. We all would rather know what's happening in the multiplayer. So just take it with a grain of salt. If it looks really futuristic, the game itself probably going to be set really far into the future. Of course, it's going to be 40 years. But we need to remember that everything that we're seeing in here actually will probably play into the game pretty well. I remember looking back into Black Ops 2, man. I was like, oh no, there's EMP grenades. They took the EMP, which was a crazy kill streak in Modern Warfare 2, and made it a grenade that you can throw. We were all worried about that. We were all worried about the millimeter scanner and being able to see people through walls. We were worried about a lot of stuff going into Black Ops 2, and it turns out all of it just worked out pretty well. They had the standard Call of Duty multiplayer. It felt like Call of Duty. It was Call of Duty. And in my opinion, as well as the opinion of probably a lot of other people, Black Ops 2 is pretty close to perfection in terms of what you might want from a Call of Duty multiplayer game. It's a really good, really balanced game. And the weapon balance, you can argue that here or there. But in terms of what you see in the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 multiplayer, it's a good game, right? It's a pretty good, balanced game. And they have a lot of futuristic stuff in there, but it doesn't change the fact that it's Call of Duty, which is something that I've said for many years they need to make sure they don't do. You can change up Call of Duty, spice it up, variety is good, but do not change the core fundamental that is Call of Duty. But I'm kind of worried about it. I'm kind of worried about them changing the core fundamental that is Call of Duty, because if you skip towards the end of the trailer, at the very end of the trailer, you see this. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare coming out November 4th, 2014. We all already knew that, but pre-order to get the Advanced Arsenal. What is the Advanced Arsenal, you might ask? Pre-order now. Advanced Arsenal Custom Exoskeleton and EM1 Quantum Weapon. Now, we can't tell a whole lot from this particular screen cap. We can't see a whole lot of things. Besides, this looks a lot like a Titan and a Titan weapon, which is somehow going to make its way into Call of Duty. You've played Titanfall, there's Titans, there's Titan weapons. It looks as though that kind of idea is going to be involved in Advanced Warfare in one way or another. Is it going to be basically Call of Duty, but there's Titan kill streaks you can call in? Are Titans going to somehow work within the game? Who knows? We don't know. That's what sucks. That's why they do this, by the way. It's what E3 is. They release trailers, and they show us stuff that doesn't really leave us knowing a whole lot. They give us more questions than answers and still build hype for their game. That's the whole point of E3, and they've done that well with a lot of games, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare included. Now, I'm sure we're all wondering, how are exoskeletons, how is this quantum weapon going to work within the Call of Duty franchise? How is all of that going to end up turning out? I have no idea. Now, I assume there's going to be other exoskeletons already built into Advanced Warfare. There's going to be other quantum weapons built into Advanced Warfare. If you look at the color of it, it's like, hey, maybe it's just like a golden exoskeleton that shows that you pre-ordered, just kind of a cosmetic change. I mean, I wouldn't imagine. Can you imagine a world where if you pre-order a game, your character gets an exoskeleton kill streak with a quantum weapon, but no one else gets it, only the pre-order people? That would be... oh, that would be bad. That would be bad, but I'm sure that's not the case. Either way, I am excited for this game. I'm excited to see what's actually going to be happening with the multiplayer. I'm assuming, of course, in the coming months, we're going to learn more about the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare actual multiplayer and not just so much about the campaign. But it is nice for them to show us stuff of the campaign so we can see a bit of what the game has to offer, what kind of guns are going to be in there, where the environment's going to be, what are the graphics going to look like, and all those questions got kind of answered today at E3. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. And if you did, please be sure to leave a rating where you guys feel the video deserves, and let me know in the comments. Are you guys excited for Advanced Warfare? And have you guys been watching E3 today? Because I've watched just about everything from E3 today. It's all pretty cool. I'm liking a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out for gaming within the next year. So let me know about that. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. And if you did, please be sure to leave a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.